Welcome to my channel, BS Life Lessons, where we discuss BS and what happens in our lives and try to come up with solutions to these wonderful problems. Because, as I've said before, and I will continue to say, is I wish somebody would have just given me a heads up or prepared me for these kind of issues. And some are small, some are quite significant, and it'd just be nice to be able to know that there's resources out there that you can find to help you in your situation. And luckily, thanks to the internet, there's an abundance of resources out there. Now, bottom line is I just want to spread awareness to daily issues, things that can spring up, some things that are completely out of the ballpark of normal. Basically, I want to help those who may stumble across this video and say, awesome, someone went through something similar to mine. Maybe it's not exactly the same. There's a lot of gray area. Nothing is ever black and white. And everybody has different factors regarding their situation. But at least we can understand that we all have similar problems and can try to come up with a solution for each other. And that's basically, I've always wanted to help people, and that's what I do. And basically, today's video is basically about, how many times am I going to say basically, is one of the issues that I want to bring to light is the fact that a caffeine issue. The main problem is drinking large amounts of caffeine or drinking too frequently. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, that doesn't sound like a pretty big issue. To some, it's not. To quite a few people, there is a dependency or even a caffeine addiction that can develop over periods of times. And I see myself, I've reflected, and this has happened quite often, that I become dependent, whether it's on a cup of coffee or an energy drink. My Achilles heel is energy drinks. Now, of course, there's studies out there, saying that they're not healthy for you, you shouldn't drink them. And you have people who say, well, in moderation. And again, that's where I'm focusing on, is that everything within moderation should be okay. And again, I'm not a professional nutritionist. I'm not a professional anything. So this is just based on my own personal experience. And I always say, if you are struggling or have any issues, please seek help from a professional, regardless if you need, whether it's a doctor, lawyer, therapist, counselor, and so forth. Please seek out those resources rather than taking information off the internet. Take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. And also, I'm going to put that out there. Even when seeking a professional, always seek a second opinion. Just want to put that out there. So back on topic about the caffeine. Let's focus. My channel is basically breaking down problems and trying to figure out, hey, what's the next step? So let's break this down. That's the next step, is breaking down the issue. Now, why is it that the caffeine's the issue? Well, for me, and I'm going to focus on me specifically, so that way I can relate to how I problem solve this. Primarily, I have caffeine needs because of my lack of energy. I am very run down. My schedule, I do not have the typical 9 to 5 schedule. Not saying that anybody who does have that's wrong. It does affect my sleep schedule. It does affect life circumstances, affect me having the right energy in my life. And so I narrowed it down to a few things. But one thing I want to put out there for everybody. Now, this is a great resource and a great idea, whether you want to use a journal, like a notebook or a journal itself, or an app of your own choosing, is to log your intake. And the best thing you can write down when you're asking for that extra cup of joe, why did you ask for that extra cup of joe? At the end of the day, why did you pick up that extra cup of coffee? Instead of your typical 1 or 2 cups, why did you have 4 today? So when you ask for that extra cup, why did you need it? And that is going to be the biggest indicator as to why your intake fluctuates the way it does. And then hopefully after logging for a certain period of time, whatever you're comfortable with, whether a few days, a week, a month, however long you want to log your results to pinpoint what your specific issue is, that will give you the greatest insight to determining what your next step of actions are. Mine, I had already concluded my 3 solutions, or the 3 reasons that I had to address things. So basically, I narrowed it down that I have a few things going on. And my lack of energy and the reason why I need so much caffeine is because my poor sleep schedule. I am not getting enough sleep. I'm lucky if I even get 6 hours of sleep, and that is not healthy. I'm not going to tell anybody you should get 8 hours of sleep. There's sleep studies out there. There's research papers that say what range of sleep you should be getting. But again, everybody's different. Some people can function on very little sleep, and some people need a lot of sleep. So again, this is specific and tailored to yourself. And so there's no way I could give you a specific answer as to the quality of sleep that you need as an individual. So bottom line, I realized I'm probably not getting enough hours of sleep each night. And that's basically one of the issues that I have, and that is one of the solutions I have to make time for a better sleep schedule. I need to look at my schedule and accommodate a healthy sleep pattern that may hopefully boost my energy for the next day, where I won't be as dependent on caffeine in general. Second thing I came up with is poor diet. Now, I know I have a poor diet, and that plays along factors where you shouldn't eat before you lay down is one of them. One of those many things that everybody says. Again, I'm just going based on feedback and what I've heard, what I've read. I do try to cite some sources in the description box below, so if I do find anything that's relevant to this topic, I will gladly post that below. And basically, it makes sense. If you have, for example, I have a burrito or taco or anything that's caused indigestion or heartburn, and it's even at dinner time, are you going to have a healthy quality of sleep? No. If you don't have a healthy breakfast in the morning that usually helps perk you up, then are you going to drag out the rest of the day? Possibly. And don't forget, there's foods out there that put you in a food coma if you ate too much, or it's your Achilles heel that just makes you just want to crash and sleep for hours. Again, if someone says turkey dinner, I don't know if that's legitimately confirmed or a myth. Anyways, just examples. And then the last thing I came up with was not enough exercise. So I'm not giving myself, you need that extra boost of energy to do the exercise, which is granted, but it seems like you almost get your second wind, or you get this euphoria feeling of feeling good once you do your exercise. Now, I'm not saying, go hit the gym. I mean, unless that's what you want to do. I'm saying like taking your dog for a walk or going for a walk for yourself. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. It can start gradually, and you can increase it over time, whatever fits into your schedule. And again, it's not actual exercise. It's just moving more. It's just giving yourself, and you're like, well, that's counterintuitive. If we don't have the energy to do that, therefore, how can you have the energy to exercise? And I know that sounds weird, but I think once you have an understanding of your diet, your sleep schedule, and just moving just a gradual little bit more, not to the point of exhaustion, of course, unless that's your thing, hopefully you can be aware of how much caffeine you need, and hopefully over time your dependency on it will be less and less, if that makes sense. And basically, hopefully that helps. Now, again, you may have other factors that you have journaled that are indicating why you're drinking more cups of coffee. You're meeting up with friends and you have always that extra cup of coffee at work, or there's environmental factors. There's so much that you could be writing down that I might not touch base on. So again, you just need to find ways that probably to cut back your caffeine or find a substitute, whether it's tea. And again, if you prefer like a warm brew, I understand that people do it because they want that warm cup of coffee in the morning. And I'm not applying that you guys should completely cut coffee out of your life. No. If it's not an issue for you, then this video does not pertain to you. But those of you who are struggling with, maybe I'm having too much caffeine in a day and it may be causing issues with you, making you more insomniac, you're more anxiety, your heart palpitations. There could be a number of issues that are arising from having too much caffeine. And of course, realistically, too much caffeine, there is a daily consumption limit, and I'll put that down below in the description box when I put the resources. At the end of the day, you know yourself better than anybody, and maybe just sitting down and reviewing Is this okay? Am I having too much or am I not having enough? Only you will know. And again, like I said, please, if at the end of the day you need to seek out, a professional, again, that was always recommended because you never know what kind of feedback they could give you based on your results, especially if you're journaling. That would be the best situation, is to review that with your doctor or specialist or nutritionist, whoever you trust to bring this information to. And again, I want to thank you. I hope this helped. There's many of other factors you could probably do to help cut your caffeine back. My best one was improving my sleep schedule, finding a substitute, and not having caffeine readily accessible to me. Those are a couple ones I also came up with solutions to myself. And the list goes on. And hopefully, once you narrow down what the cause root of your problem is and why you do it so frequently, you can come up with a solution to cut back or eliminate it if that's what your wish is. And I want to thank you taking the time for listening to my ramble. Again, life is full of BS, and sometimes you just need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help, someone to let you know you're not alone. And again, this isn't a horrible life situation. It's a very simple problem to some and probably serious to others. I want to thank you for listening. And again, in the comments below, we're a community. If you have any other suggestions or anything that's helped you, please list it below. I probably didn't touch base even nearly on anything else enough that could contribute to this. And I want this to be a community of everybody making suggestions to come up with solutions, problem solving together to help those in need who may be struggling. Because at the end, that's the sole purpose of this situation, of making these videos like this. Again, thank you for listening and take care. Bye.